Mercury is the smallest planet in the solar system, yet it has a huge impact on the way that we communicate and think. In the last few weeks, we've covered what your sun, moon, and rising signs represent. And now today, I'm so excited to talk about what Mercury represents in your chart. So get yourself a cuppa and let's get started with today's video. Cheers. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're just meeting me for the first time, hi, my name's Ebony, and this channel is here to help you manifest in the real world. If you're interested in all things astrology, spirituality, and self-development, I hope that you enjoy today's video and consider subscribing if you haven't already. As I mentioned, Mercury is the smallest planet in the solar system. It's also the closest to the sun. In Greek mythology, Mercury was the winged messenger god Hermes, and he was known as a trickster in Roman times. Similar to mythology, Mercury is known as the messenger of astrology. You might have heard of Mercury retrogrades before and how notorious they can be. I'll talk a little bit about what that means in today's video too, especially in terms of your birth chart. But please let me know if you'd like to see a video dedicated to retrogrades. Also, just in general, if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. If you're curious to learn more, I'll have more info and resources over on today's blog post linked in the description below as well. How do you know your Mercury placement? As Mercury travels so close to the sun, its placement on your astrological birth chart will either be the same as your sun sign or in the sign before or after on the zodiac. To know where Mercury was at the time of your birth, you will need to do your birth chart, using the exact time and location of your birth to calculate your own personal map of the stars at the moment you came into the world. If you haven't done this already, I recommend going to astro.com. I have an astrology resources video that can help you work it out too. I'll have that linked in the cards above and in the description below. As with everything on your chart, what sign Mercury was in when you were born influences who you are in some way, as does what house it was in and how all the other planets and aspects on your chart relate. We'll get into all those other details in future videos. What does Mercury represent? The placement of Mercury when you were born influences how you think and communicate. Mercury is in charge of what we know and how we know it. Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo, and it stays in a sign from anywhere between 15 up to 60 days. As I mentioned earlier, this small but mighty planet is always within 2 signs of whatever sign is in the sun currently. Knowing where Mercury is on your chart allows you to know about your communication style, your sense of humor, your thought patterns, how you reason and use logic, how you brainstorm ideas, and what sparks your curiosity. It even informs the study methods that might work best for you. It's where your mind excels and how you socialize and interact with other people. Knowing more about your Mercury sign is a great place to start learning about your communication style and mental nature. If your Mercury sign is in the air sign of Gemini, for example, chances are high that you're quite a communicative type of person. You might be quite chatty, quick-witted, and very curious. This might mean that your type of communication doesn't naturally work well with someone with Mercury in the earth sign of Virgo, for example. While Mercury in Gemini is very communicative and chatty, Mercury in Virgo is very logical and analytical. So Mercury in Gemini is likely to ask all the questions and want to know and talk about absolutely everything, while Mercury in Virgo is more likely to want to just get to the point already and do so in an orderly fashion. So you can see how knowing what sign Mercury is in on your chart can impact your relationships so much. As the saying goes, communication is key, especially when Mercury is retrograde. Communication can be even more vital than ever. What is Mercury retrograde? Unlike the sun and moon, planets can go retrograde. And given the impact that this can have, I think it's worth mentioning what that means in today's video on Mercury. To help me explain what Mercury retrograde is, I'll refer to Madeline Gerwick's book here. I'll have it linked in the description below if you're curious about it. When planets are in direct motion, they appear from our vantage point on Earth to be moving forward along their orbits. Astrologically, during these times when planets are direct, their energies move smoothly and are clearly expressed. But when planets are retrograde, astrologically their energies seem to be obscured or obstructed. During astrological retrogrades, planets seem to the human eye to be moving backward in their orbits. Planets don't really move backward in their orbits. It is an optical illusion of human perception from Earth's vantage point. Astrologically, this means planets' energies will be reversed, reconsidered, or turned inward when retrograde. Mercury retrograde, for example, rethinks things over and over to get communications or mental processes right, unlike direct Mercury's Quicksilver approach. Retrograde planets aren't bad. Just as we humans need to retreat periodically to renew our energies, so do planets. And if you're born with a personal retrograde, you will be reconsidering the functions associated with this particular planet. A personal retrograde means that a planet was retrograde at the time of your birth and its energy only affects you. Transiting retrogrades are related to what's happening overhead at a given moment, and so they affect everybody. When a planet is retrograde, it is closer to Earth than usual, and therefore its energies are more intense. Transiting Mercury retrograde occurs 3 times every year for about 3 weeks each time, affecting everyone. Mercury retrograde has become known as being this notorious, negative, astrological hiccup, but in reality it's not good or bad. It's simply a shift in Mercury's energy. It serves a purpose, as it encourages us to finish or redo projects and to reevaluate situations. Things you may have missed or errors that you may have made in the past will often come to light during a Mercury retrograde, giving you the opportunity to change or fix them. That's not to say that we shouldn't be wary of Mercury retrograde though. With Mercury in charge of communication and transportation, there is often a surge in mishaps, delays, and technical issues. You may feel tongue-tied and struggle to communicate as effectively as you normally can. It's known as being a bad time to sign any contracts or jump headfirst into anything new that you haven't given much thought over in particular. If it's something that you've been thinking about for a while that you start, not as bad. But if it's a completely new idea, don't jump straight into it during a Mercury retrograde. Maybe do some planning, dip the toe in the water, but definitely don't jump straight in without giving it too much thought. Mercury is currently in retrograde as I'm filming this, so unsurprisingly, it's taking me a while to create this week's video. It's become such a thing to worry about Mercury retrograde messing everything up that there's even a website now called Is Mercury in Retrograde, which simply tells you whether it is or not and how much longer it'll be in retrograde if it is. So I hope that gives you an idea of what to expect from a transiting Mercury retrograde, during which time we are all affected equally. But if Mercury was retrograde when you were born, so it's Mercury retrograde on your chart, what does that mean exactly? Let me refer to the book again to explain this. Because a retrograde planet is out of step with its function in the present culture, personal Mercury retrograde indicates people who are learning to think for themselves, especially because their thoughts and ideas will be different from those of society. People born with Mercury retrograde are sorting through ideas, thoughts, and their own communications with greater intensity than people with Mercury direct. It takes time for them to get used to this and start understanding how to deal with it. But in the meantime, people with Mercury retrograde are sometimes likely to think too much. However, people born with Mercury retrograde also often have uncanny intelligence and awareness. During transiting Mercury retrogrades, they may experience an extra boost of enthusiasm, acquire greater insight, and accomplish more than people born with Mercury direct. So it's certainly not a negative thing if you are born with Mercury retrograde in your chart, regardless of whether Mercury was direct or retrograde when you were born. Even just knowing what sign it was in will tell you so much about how you socialize, interact, communicate, learn, and think. There is definitely so much more we could talk about when it comes to Mercury, but I hope that you enjoyed this short overview of what it represents when direct and in retrograde, and how it can influence you as an individual. So now I'd love to know, what sign is Mercury in on your chart? Do you feel like it helps explain how you communicate and think? In an effort to try and keep this video short and sweet for you, I'll have more info and resources on today's blog linked in the description below as well. While you're over on my blog as well, you can sign up for my free weekly newsletter that I send out every Monday morning, which includes a charm tarot reading for your week. Plus there are freebies involved, different guides that you can get for free. So if you're curious about all of that, I'll have everything everything in the description below. As always, please let me know in the comments below if you have any questions or requests, and feel free to find me over on Instagram at Ebony Highland. I'd love to see you over there as well. I truly hope you enjoyed today's video and consider subscribing and ringing the little bell to be notified when I post a new video every Thursday. Thank you so much for watching and supporting this channel. It really means the absolute world to me. I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are in the world, and I can't wait to see you here again next week. So much love. Bye. I don't even know what I'm laughing at. How many times have I said this sentence? Or started the sentence and not finished it? Chances? Okay. I think I got that sentence out, did I? I'm just going to move on and hope for the best. Oh, I'm still filming.